Hey there, welcome back to Light Guided. Lisa Kay here with an energy update for about mid-July to August. And this particular energy update is looking at money, finances, abundance, energy for the collective. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to look at the overall energies and let's see what pops to the surface here. Overall energies related to money, abundance, finances for the collective. Oh, wow. First energy that comes out is goblins. I feel like for some of you, this is going to be connected to the career reading too, so please feel free to check that out if it resonates. I'm seeing just this energy of fear, and why this stands out to me related to the career vocation reading is because in that reading I talked a little bit about the energy of finance, the energy of money, and the overlap is like we have all these stories about how we think about finances, how we think about money, how we think about what it means to be in the state of abundance. For most of us, it's a very black and white kind of experience. I have $5, therefore I have $5. But we're moving into this new paradigm shift related to this energy, which is like, how can you begin to tune into the abundance of your life, even if you don't have $5? And what does that look like? What does that change look like for you? I'm also just seeing here in really practical ways, like some of you had, like surprise bills, big expenses that were kind of a surprise, not something you planned for, not something that was fun necessarily. This could be, for example, like car repair or, some kind of repair, some kind of thing that you just didn't expect that's popping up here. And it's causing you to retreat into old energetic habits because it brings up fear, right? Moonlight. For some of you, this energy is directly related to, oh crap, I better get a second job. I better figure out my career or my workspace because I need the extra money right now. So again, just kind of, a lot of energy of lack, a lot of energy of, fear and anxiety about finances in this time period, July, August. Some of you may have had a vacation or taken time off or, something like that, in addition to having this large expense that came up. And it may just be, triggering a little bit of, dry desert. Where's my money? I need more money. What I'm noticing in this energy here, though, again, this is all about the stories we tell ourselves. There's facts, there's reality. I have $5, I don't have $5. That's a fact or a reality, right? A kind of reality. But what we tell ourselves about that experience is everything. So I feel like this message, for those of you this resonates with, this message is very much about what stories are you telling yourself about your finances, regardless of what the quote unquote reality is. And this is that card kind of illustrating that, which is like, I'm in the middle of this dry desert, and oh, look, on the horizon is this beautiful green cactus. And if you know cactuses, you know that cactuses are full of water. They're full of hydration. And somehow in the middle of this desert, there is hydration, there is green, there is on the horizon something you can lean on. So sure, this time period, mid-July through August, you may not be rolling in the dough right now, but this vibration is all about your story. What are you telling yourself? And in the honoring of the practical, some of you may need to take on extra work just for this time period. You might need a little extra financial support in this time period, and looking at a secondary, job might just be the thing. A lot of you in this vibration are having the experience of like the belief this is not a time to take chances. It's not a time to take risks. And at the broader energy, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing that we're in this really unique energetic flow when it comes to money. There's again a huge paradigm shift happening in this space. And because of that paradigm shift, it could, for some of you, and I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just reading the energy here, so please make good, wise decisions for yourself. But for some of you, if you have some kind of inspiration about something that happens to be financial, look at that. Is that inspiration leading you possibly into either a new story, or B, into a new financial situation that maybe is not what you currently have? Some of you are feeling pretty desperate here. I'm sorry. It's kind of a big energy. You may be feeling like, oh crap, I'm either going to have to rely on my credit cards, or I may have to ask family or friends for help. Some of you, if you're on the younger side, you may be looking at moving in with family or having roommates. Like, these are the kinds of practical decisions you're looking at. I'm also aware that for some of you, your experience of this energy may be being influenced very much by external factors. So for example, if you're someone who's watching the news a lot, if you're, I'm not talking about like having a financial advisor, that kind of input, or, friends and family who know you well, who are looking out for you. I'm talking about the, the global fear and the global anxiety that's coming through social media. It's coming through the news media. And some of this energy is about how those places are stirring up this fear for you or in you. Cleaning house. So some of you are actually taking this energy and you are transforming it into, an opportunity to kind of go inward, both emotionally, like emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, really looking at your situation. I don't see this as like a deep dive into that, like, I have to change my whole life to change the vibration of how I'm dealing with money. But this is more of like just checking your thoughts. Where am I holding on to stories that are, limiting me or causing me to feel dis-ease in the space of my finances? But I'm also seeing, and again, in that practical sense, that you might start going through your household and start cleaning things out. You might start purging some things for two reasons. One, because it's just taking up space and it feels cluttered for you. And the other is you might find some things that you actually feel like you could sell. Maybe I'm seeing more the energy of selling than donating, but donating could be here too. That's a form of energy exchange, right? But I feel like this energy for anyone that this resonates with, it feels like a positive energy. Like, it feels very much like, you're good with this. You've been down this road before. You're used to the ebb and flow of your finances. It's nothing to, write home about. You're not so panicked. You do have a sense that it's temporary. Even if you don't know how temporary, you do have a sense that it is temporary. So others of you, this may also be an energy of like putting purchases on hold. You may have been eyeing like, oh, I'd really love to get that new bedroom set or that new dining room table. And you may be thinking, now's not the time. So now may be a time to kind of hold off. The cool thing about this energy, it started to come up here in this moonlight energy. The cool thing about this space is, for some of you, it may actually trigger or cause you to start getting really creative and innovative. Like, I don't know, selling your artwork or doing something to make a little extra money that maybe you had never thought about before, or you just never considered. And it actually starts to open up this really beautiful new energy for you of like, oh, wow, people like my artwork. I'm seeing like going to, like, what do you call them? Like street art shows type of settings, like getting a booth and like selling your wares. It's pretty casual, like farmers markets. That's more the vibe, like a small farmers market. And you just go out and you start selling your artwork, and you're going to be surprised, like, or whatever you're making, right? Your creations. And you might be surprised, like, oh, people are interested. People are actually, purchasing this. So it gives you a little bit of extra cash in your pocket, but it also starts to bring forward some new ideas for you about, oh, maybe I could, do this more and make a little bit more money. That would be pretty cool. So that's a great vibe here. Similar energy came up in the career space. Like I said, there's a lot of parallels. I'm not surprised, they are overlapping, right? It's kind of there's a lot of friction in this energy, and it's not specifically related to your home. I did talk about this kind of like purging. It's connected to that energy. This feels to me more internal, like, again, purging thoughts, purging behaviors. If you're someone, for example, I love this story, when my son was little, and every morning as part of our routine, we would go to a very well-known coffee place. We would drive up every morning on the way to school. This was many, many years ago. And we would each get like coffee or hot cocoa or whatever it was. And I realized at the end of the month, I was very short on cash. And I was like, why am I so short on cash all the time? And then I would like calculated it out. I was like spending $300 a month on coffee. And so we made some adjustments, right? We purged that behavior. It was a habit. It was a behavior. It was comfortable. It was fun. We had all this energy attached to that. This is our time together. This is the thing we're doing. But as soon as I gave up that habit of stopping at that particular coffee place every morning, it like started to free up cash. It started to free up money. And by doing that, it kind of started to shift other areas too. Just energetically, it started to shift like, oh, look I have all this extra money now at the end of the month. How cool. And I was able to do other things with that. So this is the vibration here that I'm seeing. It's like, there's this internal paradigm shift that's also about, maybe it's time to make some different decisions about, evaluating your budget. How are you spending your money? Are you being reasonable and responsible? Or are you saying, like, you're spending a lot of money and at the end of every month, you're like, I'm broke. I don't understand why. And you have a whole new, 3 new dish sets, but you can't afford to pay your electric bill. You know what I mean? So just an energy to look at here. There's a tiny, tiny quality of energy at the edge of this that is like addictive patterns, addictive behavior. Some of you may use spending money as a form of, solace or relief. If that resonates for you, this is just a message about looking at that energy. Is it serving you? Is it not serving you? Overall, in the space of finances, even if it doesn't feel like it in your personal life this month, for this small period, mid-July through mid-August, Spirit's like, no, there's a lot of spiritual support here. There's a lot of spiritual support for things to work out. There's a lot of spiritual support for, I'm not going to use the word security because that's not quite the right vibration, but it's like there's a lot of spiritual support here for well-being within your current state, with a few adjustments. You make a few adjustments and suddenly your well-being starts to skyrocket. And really, once you're in that vibration, the game on, a totally different energy. Yeah, here's that making choice card, kind of, again, repeating, but it's a little bit of like, oh, do I get the coffee or do I put the $20 aside and let it accumulate for the end of the month kind of thing? So some of you are really dealing with some practical, very practical things related to money in this time period. Ooh, that's a fun energy. Magical shapeshifter. The first thing that comes to mind is robbing Peter to pay Paul. So for some of you, again, if you're in this, it feels like many of you right now for this particular time period, you're just in this vibration of like practicality related to money, fear, lack, and maybe you don't feel like you're in a place to save or to make different decisions or something like that. But this is like maneuvering. It's like negotiating the terrain of your finances. So maybe it's like, okay, this month I'm not going to pay that bill and I'm going to pay this bill instead because next month I'll have enough money to pay the first bill and I don't have consequences on the first bill. Like you're kind of moving things around, robbing Peter to pay Paul. But it's all the same money, right? It's not like you have extra money. It's not like you're saving money. This is like the same money being moved around in different ways. Getting creative. It's called creative finance. All right, let's see. Is there anything else here, Spirit, for the collective related to finances, abundance, money matters, practical money matters that will be helpful here? Wide open. I feel like this is so cliche to say, but this is the energy that's coming forward. So like I said, take what resonates, leave the rest behind. There's very much the energy here about, recognizing that it's all temporary anyway. It's all fluid, ebb and flow. Sometimes you have money, sometimes you don't have money. It's all ebb and flow. And it's, how are you choosing to navigate that path? And then there's this broader message for the collective. This is the part that feels so cliche. It's like Spirit's just affirming, like, hey, don't worry, I got you. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. I find it kind of funny. Some of you were also waiting for some money. You may have, I don't know if it's a contract or a gift or a refund, is something like that, where you've known about this money coming and there's been a delay of some kind, and you're still waiting on that. And it's part of the anxiety that's sort of contributing to all this other stuff. You're like, well, if I could just get that money, whatever that is, like, for some of you, this could be like the sale of property or, something like that. But it's a substantial amount of money that if you just had it, it would alleviate all these other things and would really create a sense of freedom for you. And that's a good reminder that, you can tune into that freedom knowing that the money is coming, even though the money is not here yet. And you can still live into that freedom as though you have it. Live like you have it. And I don't mean like go out and spend every last dime, but I mean live into the energy of I'm safe, I'm secure, I have everything I need. And hopefully, if you're watching this video, I have to imagine that you're fortunate enough to have a home, you're fortunate enough to, have some resources, even if it's not exactly what you prefer, that you do have those things, and that's good. Details. Yeah. This energy is related both to this, whatever this is, connected to like a refund or large money coming in, something you've been waiting on, a contract. There's just time. It's like more time. You just have to wait through the process, be patient with it. There's like, I'm seeing lots of paperwork, like lots of crossing T's and dotting I's with that. It's not something that's going to come very quickly. For some of you, at least one of you, this energy comes up. Something about your current work. I don't know if it's related to like your hourly timesheet. It has that vibe to it for me. It's like one of two things. Either you mistakenly do your timesheet wrong and you end up getting shorted in your paycheck, or the opposite happens where you, and I'm getting, if the opposite is happening, it's kind of intentional. And I would just say, if that's your experience, please be mindful, because that's not going to last very long. If you're fudging your timesheets, somebody's going to find out. Somebody's going to notice that. Strange message, but that's what's coming up. But details here. So you may have miscalculated something on your timesheet, or miscalculated how much money you had available for something, and you get shorted, like you overdraw your bank account, like that kind of energy. So, being mindful about that. Storm fields. So funny. The picture I get with this vibration is like running out onto the golf course and just like throwing your arms up and just having money rain down on you. It's like you're doing a money dance, like the money rain dance. And maybe you are doing a money rain dance. Maybe you're really trying hard to manifest these, specific resources. And I would just say, in a very playful way, if that's the energy that you're in right now and you're like trying to manifest these resources, like go big or go home. Like, if you're pleading to the universe or sending a message out to the universe, hey, I need $100 to cover my bill, like think bigger. Just have fun with it. Play with the energy, like be with the energy. Let it be fun. Yeah, setting those intentions. And actually, I would even say in this space, like the idea of setting an intention is a serious, I'm going to set the intention that I'm full of abundance. Whereas this energy is like, oh, heck no, I'm just going to go out and do a money dance, bring it on. So you can see the difference in that vibration. Like you can set an intention, but it kind of has this quality of like methodical brain energy. Whereas this is like full body, spiritual energy, just letting go, being free, having fun. And like when you're in that space, it's like everything else starts to feel a little bit lighter around some of the frustration, some of the heaviness of what you're dealing with. Ooh, I keep seeing this mistake. This is some kind of bookkeeping mistake. Like, again, you got shorted on your paycheck or you overdrew your account and it's like, dang it. And, you knew better, but it happened anyway. And you're going to try to recover from that this month. Like, it's interesting. I'm definitely getting this energy of like, or this message, this is kind of a serious energy for a lot of people right now. I mean, when we talk about money and automatically triggers our survival energy in that first chakra, it automatically triggers that for most of us. Even if we're pretty stable and we're okay, if things just aren't going quite right, it can trigger all that energy and that fear and anxiety. And this energy, it just like keeps coming back to like, lighten your energetic burden a little bit, like have some fun. Even if you can't have fun around your finances, maybe you're not going to do a money dance in the golf course, but maybe this is just about giving yourself a little bit of a break from worrying about it, hanging out with friends, letting friends help you. And what I'm seeing for some of you, like, even if it's completely unspoken between you and a friend, like they might take you out to dinner just impromptu and they'll be like, hey, let's just go out. I'll pay. I'd love to take you out. Or, hey, I had these extra groceries. Can I share them with you? So there's abundance happening in different ways in your space during this time. Maybe not the ways you expect, think you need or want, but it's definitely there. Gentle gardener. This message is not going to apply to everybody. This is very, very specific. This energy is about like, I'll say it this way. It's like scavenger hunt. It's like treasure finds. It's like you go to an estate sale and you find something that just really speaks to you. It's like, oh, this little thing is so beautiful. And maybe it's like $5. And then you learn later, like several years down the road, it's like worth hundreds of dollars. It's like that kind of energy. It's a funny energy to come through in this reading. But yeah, I'm seeing that. And then I would say overarching that, the overall metaphor, the message here in that is like things accrue value over time. So how are you investing your time, energy, money now in a way that's going to accrue value later? And I don't see this as a traditional, like, you've got your Roth IRA account or anything like that. This is more of a little bit of a different energy. It's more like the recognition of, loving your life, loving yourself enough to be thoughtful about planning ahead a little bit. I don't feel like I'm explaining this well. It's still more in alignment with this metaphor of like going to the estate sale, buying something for $5 and you realize, oh, it's actually $100. But I think that they're just telling me like, you can have some of that vibration for yourself. You can bring some of that vibration into this space of your money and finances right now, where you're thinking about, considering and planning on how are you going to accrue value. So even if they're telling me like, yeah, even if you don't have a lot of resources now, maybe you just set aside $2 a week or $2 a day or something like that. And you just do that every day for 6 months. Like that money accumulates. Maybe you're saving for something important. So take it as it resonates. All right, let's look for closing messages here. Encouragement. Sacred pull into the unknown. Yeah, I think this is just a continued message about be mindful about the fear. Don't let fear run the show. They're also saying like, don't, fear can run the show, but so can it can show up in different ways. Fear can show up as like overdoing, over controlling, trying to like make it all happen. The opposite of that can also be true, where you become fearful and you just like, okay, I'm not going to do anything. And you don't take any accountability for your journey. Maybe you're waiting for spirit to like drop money into your hands, but your relationship with spirit is symbiotic, right? We're in the human form. We have to act on our intuition and act on the things that are placed in front of us. So being totally apathetic about our finances is also not going to help much. And then for some of you, I'm just seeing like you have the encouragement of family members too. Like it looks like somebody wise around you. Maybe it's this reading. I don't know. Not trying to call myself wise, but just saying like you're getting a message of encouragement related to your finances, and it looks like it's helping. It looks like it's helping, whether that's from a parent or a friend or a family member. So I'm going to do a closing message. I have recently come across this book called The Rumi Oracle. Rumi is not for everybody. I happen to really like Rumi, so I'm including it. If you don't want to hear the closing message, please feel free to, turn off your video. Rumi tends to be pretty esoteric and also a little dense, like it's like a lot to think about. But, maybe just let the energy of this card kind of wash over you, see what resonates. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. So I'm going to read the poem, and then I'm going to read a little bit of the introduction on the chapter. So this card is the Lover and the Beloved. When you move beyond consciousness, you caress the beloved. When you move into the unknown, beyond everything, the beloved caresses you. I love that. Beautiful message. It's not enough to love me. I want you to allow me to love you. It is not enough to desire me, to want to be closer to me. I want to reach out to you and grab a hold of you, drawing you into me and never letting you be apart from me again. There is so much more for us to experience, you and me, than simply gazing, even with love, at each other from a distance. Let me take you into my arms. Let me hold you until we cease to know or care where you and I once were, you and I, for instead we will be one. Will you allow it? Will you allow me? Will you allow us to be? So if you're still with the reading, I just want to offer, think of this message as a metaphor. The beloved can be your relationship with finances, your relationship to yourself as it relates to how you deal with finances. So, it can be an interesting metaphor if you think about it that way. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I wish you all the best. And if anything in this message resonated for you, you are more than invited to like, share, and subscribe. Feel free to check out the other videos for this time period, mid-July to mid-August. And with that, have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.